Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So now we've done Pinan Nidan, we've covered all the basic techniques, we've covered Ippon Kumite, using the basic techniques, we've done the Yakusoku techniques, we've done the kata. Now it's time to look at how to use the kata. And I actually teach applications sometimes before kata, intermix, teaching them simultaneously. But go back to the bunkai series of videos. I think I did, 6, 8, 10 videos on possible methods of extracting information from the kata. Because we weren't there, we don't know. What we do know is the technique came first, the kata came after. But we weren't there with the technique, and all that got passed down to us in a lot of cases is the kata. So now we are left reverse engineering in a lot of cases. But there are all sorts of fighting systems, judo, sumo, wrestling, boxing, many fighting systems. All our elbows and joints move the same direction, so we can extrapolate, infer a lot from other fighting techniques. So the first move in the kata, if I'm doing the kata facing in this direction, which will facilitate when I bring my partner in here, we pull to our cat stance, hammer fist, step through oizuki. Okay, so if I'm facing this way, I'm moving to the side, hammer fist, step through punch. There's also then the turn into low block, which we can use in our bunkai. So Max, if you'll join me please. Onegaishimasu. Hey. So the actual technique that I teach first is a cross-handed wrist grab. If I'm doing the kata in this direction, my first move is a step off line in a cat stance in this direction. Let me have this for a second. So the yoi position after we bowed and presented pretty much gives him, okay, please attack me by grabbing one or the other. Assuming a predominantly right-handed population, he's going to want to punch me with the right hand, so he's going to grab me with the left as if to punch here. Got to move quick on this, so I move my cat stance. If he's punching, my cat stance takes me offline. I circle this wrist and regrip. There's my hammer fist. This can be a kick, be a push, depending on which foot I've pulled him. If he steps forward with his foot as I pull, can be a kick to that knee. Okay? So my first movement is to take that, get out of the way of the punch, hammer fist. From here, as I step through, I can make this an elbow break, arm bar, or a punch into behind the ear or in the temple. So the technique, as I actually teach it for my required, if you will, is step, regrip, hammer blow, step through, punch. Okay? Variations, if he's punching as an attack. In a lot of Okinawan styles, as arm conditioning, kote kitai training, there would be this. Hey, we would block, block, hammer. So if I'm using that hammer on the punch, hey, I could simply step out of the side and whack that arm. If instead of coming in this way, he grabs, let's go, it really doesn't matter, okay? Grab cross-handed, okay? We could, no, you were right first, this time, this way. So again, he's going to punch with the right, okay? So I bring this up, that stops his punch. Now I come to the wrist lock, but I haven't turned sideways in this case, I just stayed in front of him, where I can throw my kick, then I can step in, punch, whatever I'm going to do at that point. Okay, so again with that one, cross-handed he's going to punch. And we have essentially the same movements. In the kata, we're stepping without an opponent there. Understand that the stances indicated in the kata we will use, but whether we're stepping forward or back, to a great extent is dictated by what my opponent is going to do. So you'll notice in this case, for example, when I did it in this version, in my cat stance, and again, I could take it to the side here, kick, hammer, but he's right in front of me in this case, so I can't really do oizuki because he's too close. So instead, I simply take the gyakusuki after the hammer. Okay? So that one would look like this. A little bit different. The throw then, let's turn this way. So if I'm doing the required version for my yellow belt testing, we're doing this. Hammer, punch. Now there's a 90 degree or 180 degree turn. So I take his head, there's my low block. And again, I pull back. That's the next technique in the kata. That's an extension of the requirement. But the requirement is simply the first version I showed you. Let's go on 45 here. So this is the definitive, you're testing in Schumacher's dojo. All of the other variations I teach, we play with, we practice, because you never know, right? He could be choking me. You can move off the choke. Again, by stepping with my cat offline, I turn his body. I have my cat free to kick as I come around. But our definitive version is, he grabs, sidestep, hammer, step through, punch, alternatively come under the nose, around the collarbone, under the jaw with your thumb, 180 degree turn, throw. That's the finish of the technique as I teach for my required bunkai at yellow belt. First movement of the kata. Could be hammering, he could be kicking, I could be peeling off a push or a choke, but we're taking it for practice purposes from the implied wrist grab of yoi, step through punch, turn and throw. For other ideas, go back to the bunkai series and you'll see other ways of looking at how we can use this movement of the kata for self-defense purposes. Until next week, thank you again as always for joining, and until next week, keep practicing.